be your moderator for now. For now, I would like to ask Sister Madeline to welcome everyone, as she is the president of the Leading Women of Africa. Sister Madeline, it's your turn. Please speak to us. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for reminding me. Yes, it is cold in Cape Town as well this evening. The day was good, but it started getting cold again. I would like to welcome everyone, and it's actually a celebration for us. It's not really mourning, it is a celebration. A man who have basically walked the walk to get to 97 years old. I think many did not see that age, and we can only pray and trust that we can even reach there. And I think just his age, to die at this age, just prove that he had a big mission on earth. And he has completed his journey, and he can now go the rest. I think the burden is now on us. How can we follow his footsteps? How can we follow the legacy that he has actually left behind? And I think we owe it to ourselves, Africa, everyone, that we can say we have a role model. We have a leader that we can say, this is a visionary leader, and we will not be ashamed to walk on his foot a step. And as we celebrate him today, are memories, they are tributes that we are receiving from, we were actually inundated today with tribute, with memories that we could actually say that, you know what, women really have a good memory of this man, and women have been watching this man, and we can say this man has actually impacted so many lives. And as we are here today, some of those memories are actually in the system as we were watching. I will take you through some of those memories now, but I want to really give the opportunity to Dr. Nelly also say something. I know we have a lot to say. We have been in Zambia, we have interacted with the old man, and he entertained us, and I think we have a lot to share. And I would like to welcome everyone and some special guests as well that have decided to join us. Councillor Fozia Pierre from the former mayor of Itequini, really had a special, I think you actually have a lot to say about the old man, and thank you for sharing the memory that you had with him. Honorable Lillian from Zambia as well, Dr. Buki from Nigeria, Ms. Makawawa from Tanzania that I could see here, Rebecca from Worldwide Women Association from Durban, and we have Penelope and many others that are really joining us. And Mr. Paulo, who wanted to basically join us and see what we are doing. Really, I think tonight we have so much to celebrate and so much to talk about him. And yeah, over to you, and we can all share what experience or what is our souvenir of the old man. Thank you so much.
Mr. President Kaunda, he has touched so many lives at different levels. And in his 90s, as he walked on this earth, he decided he's not going to sit in one position, but you'll find him where the needs of the world are. He walked on earth with a vision of providing and solving, partnering with organizations to ensure that Africa becomes a platform where women and men can grow and do things in an amazing way. And thank you, Mrs. President of the Leading Women of Africa, for giving us an opportunity to share the memories of a great man. Today, we have a main speaker, but we'll have time where we'll open for those that would like to share indeed what happens in their life when they think about the late President Kaunda. I will begin now to hand over to our speaker, Sister Nelly, tonight and this evening. Bless us. Give us a walk in the park. Give us an experience what it was like to interact with a giant like the late President Kaunda. Over to you. Speak to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Will. Thank you so much, Madeline. I think for me, the journey is not only in 2015. The journey starts from just the time that I was born, you know, growing up in Zambia and just having this icon. There were many times we just desired to just wave at him, you know, when he's passing, you know, through our school, you know, the history that was being shared about the things that he had to go through, the things that he did, not only for Zambia as a country, but all the other surrounding nations in Africa. You know, the representation of what he did, you know, started when we were just in school, when we were learning about, you know, the struggle for our nation, Zambia. But I think I won't go too much into that detail. Let me just get to the cream of it when I met with Madeline, you know, the president for Leading Women Africa. I think that was just so amazing. 10th, 11th of July, 2015 was amazing because we gathered as women from different nations with one cause to just honor this great icon of Africa. And as women, you know, we came, you know, with our own organizations, our own companies, to just put our heads together under the Leading Women of Africa, and we had to honor this great man. It was amazing for us to host the breakfast at his residence. But what was very epic at this particular event was how he took time to actually bless us. And I remember his speech. It was amazing. He said this was time for women, and he was passing on the baton. You know, it seemed as though he was holding on the baton and he was waiting for women like us to arise. And he gave a powerful speech that he, you know, he was going to pass on the baton to us as women because the ground, you know, was leveled. And as women, we needed to actually come in and still, you know, play on that, you know, particular platform. That's an amazing photo there that shows, you know, women from different parts of Africa, especially South Africa. There were many from South Africa, and this was just so amazing for him to release, you know, his, I call it the anointing. You know, he was laying on hands. Okay, he was laying on hands on each one of us as we were getting the mantle. He was giving us the mantle. You know, he was saying it was our turn as women, you know, to run the race. And I think you can tell as women, you know, from that particular time, we have really developed in different ways. You can see there, it's so amazing. One of the women is being talked to. He took time individually to release grace on each one of us. That was such a memorable time. I think each of us as women, if we were to say something, you know, each one of us from that time, our lives have turned out to be best lives. Through most of these things and the blessings that we got personally as an organization and as an individual, I even got an award, a Chairwoman Award, you know, in New York City. And this was about women empowerment. And most of these women, I think, can testify of what has happened ever since we got that mantle to run the race. And so for me and the rest of the women, this was very memorable. And as we are going to put to rest the great icon, you know, tomorrow, as women, I think the best way to remember him is for us to run our race. It is for us to really get the career bull by the horn for us to push our organizations to another level, for us to do the very best and play the game, you know, as women, with that feminine touch, with that compassion, even as he, you know, got on with a powerful slogan, you know, love one another. He was a man of the Bible. He was a man of the word, and he didn't just talk about, you know, the Bible. He actually lived it. He expressed it in the way he loved neighbors, and how that as a nation we have accommodated a number of people and helped a lot of nations to get their independence. So thank you so much, Madeline. You know, 2015 was just amazing. Over to you, Will.
Wow, that was awesome. Just a few questions to you, maybe one or two. If you are to say on a personal level, what are you taking from him right now? What would you say that will go with you for the rest of your life? Are you muted? I cannot hear you.
Put on mute. If I'm mute, okay, now I think I'm unmuted.
Now
okay.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yes, what I can take from him is the power of networking. The man loved other people. Everything that he got, he wanted another person to have it. He didn't want to accept alone. He wanted other people to also experience the best thing that he has experienced. And like I mentioned, you can tell how that when we got independence as the nation of Zambia, he wanted other nations to also gain their independence. He always wanted a neighbor to experience the best life. And I think for me, that is so powerful. That is the legacy I would want to continue with, to help other women become the best version of themselves.
Women to become the best version of themselves. That is what I would love to hear. So now that he is not there, there's a void. We need another man to step in there. Are you with me? But that is a discussion for another day. A discussion for another day. Today we're celebrating the man. The man has impacted lives, even when you didn't encounter him, but you know of a KK with his safari suits and his handkerchief. You will know that's the man you want to talk about. And so tonight, it is that celebration. Tonight is really closing our eyes and walking backwards into history to really experience and say, hey, he touched our lives. So Sister Lely, you are going to go forward now with your life in Zambia.
Yes, forward indeed. I've actually joined politics, and soon, you know, very, very soon, I'm aiming for the high office.
Well done. I love that. I love that. And for the young ladies in Zambia, if you speak to them, what would you say? And the world over. As you know, technology has got its ways. Sometimes just wants not happy for us to be doing what we're doing. Did you hear my question, Sister Nelly? Unmute yourself one more time. You are muted. All right. As she's busy to make sure that she's in touch with the technology, I'm hoping that you can hear me all of you.
I can hear you. What's the question again?
Oh, the question was, now that you're going forward and whatever you're doing, looking at the young ladies in Zambia and the world over, what would you share with them in terms of wisdom now? This is your wisdom for them to grow, to be where you are.
Okay, so the whole issue here is that, you know, as women, we need to aim for leadership. We need to aim to get into the position of decision-making positions, because, you know, even if we get the mantle or we get the opportunity, if we don't step up, to get into decision-making positions, you know, other people make wrong decisions which will affect us. So my encouragement and what I've been building a lot of women is for them to arise and participate and get into political decisions so that we can pass policies. We need more women in cabinet. We need more women in the judiciary system. We need more women to make those, you know, policies so that, you know, the many women can actually arise, because it's not enough for us to just sing a song that, of course, you know, we got the mantle and we were blessed. I think it is for us to step up and do what is right. And I think what is right is to aim for the higher offices. And like I mentioned, that is exactly what I've done. I have joined the opposition and I'm aiming for the highest, you know, top position. And soon you'll hear I'm the president of Zambia. So you need to know me today.
Madam President. It's got a good sound to it. I mean, I love to hear what you bring into the table. I can imagine that in the offices as you go in, you walk in with the spirit of KK around you to say, now I'm here, I need to bring this thing forward. Really, it's an honor to really to speak to you. So before you got there, just to get to know you a little bit better, what was occupying you before you got into the politics? What occupied your life? How did you occupy your life?
It's basically, I've been raising women. I'm big at destiny rescuing. So I train women to become, you know, captains of industry. I get them to internationalize their brands and get to connect with other women who are doing great things. So I'm just big at connection. I'm a connector in short. I just connect people for us to play the greatest game. And today in the world we are in, where we are in the global village, I love a lot of women to become, you know, IT savvy. They need to really understand that we need to get the game now into international markets and ensure that Google knows your name. You know, Google must know you at this particular time. So most women are doing a lot of things, but they are not really staging it on the, you know, on the platforms, on the IT platform. And so that is exactly what I've been doing for quite some time. Just, you know, connecting women from different places, you know, for us to buy into each other and encouraging each other, pulling those that are in the community, you know, to start arising and knowing that they can also state themselves, even if they didn't go so far in education. But if you have an inherent gift, if you can work on that inherent gift, add more skill to it, develop it, you can become a captain of industry. So that's exactly what I've been doing. I'm a farmer. I do a number of things. Yeah.
You are a farmer. Now I'm impressed. Now I'm impressed.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. It's been an enlightenment. We have learned a lot. Today we have opened this platform for all of you that are here to share indeed what Dr. Kaunda and how has impacted your life. I mean, he's impacted my life in many ways. I'm in South Africa, grew up in Malawi. I know Dr. KK used to come to President Banda, spending time together, and that's how I know him. Now, going forward, the platform is open, and I would like to see those that are saying, I have got something to share, raise up your hand, and we'll be in and out. We'll share these memories. We'll share everything as we have here. Sister Martin has mentioned that we've got a parliamentarian, ex-parliamentarian, is that right? For South Africa, from South Africa? All right, don't worry, I've got Kingsley. The hand is up. Please, is that Mr. Kingsley or Sister Kingsley? It depends. Is that a surname or first name?
Kingsley is my first name. My surname is Kingsley. My surname is Kaunda.
All right, Mr. Kingsley. Yeah. The platform is open.
To start with, thank you very much for this lovely time when we just have to remember the famous KK. To start with, I think the best thing that I would remember of him is the fact that other than just being the first president of Zambia. One thing that comes to mind is that I'm one of the beneficiaries of his free education and the policies that he was driving.
All right.
Out of the policies that he was driving, I think the one that came paramount was the issue of One Zambia, One Nation. It was a slogan, and he didn't just put it as a slogan, but he stood for it.
All right.
He is one person who Zambia predominantly has 72, 73 tribes, but he united the tribes into one. He never wanted to hear anyone say, this is my tribe. In other words, all of us, our tribe was Zambian. Yes. So we didn't look at ethnically which part of Zambia do you come from. That was KK.
Madeline, could you mute the other one? Thank you.
I think there's someone. All right. So that was KK. KK did not know tribe.
Yes.
KK, to everybody, the tribe were all Zambians. And he is one person who, among the favorite slogans that he always said, it was Imiti Kula Empanga, which is a Bemba adage. And what it means is that the trees that grow, they make up the forest. So in other words, he was one person who was inspired by the youth. So he was promoting the youth to be part of the development. He was promoting the youth to go into politics. He was promoting the youth to get ready to run and run with the mantle. That was KK. When it came to discipline, he's one politician I knew who could discipline his ministers during a press briefing without fear or favor. I remember growing up that time when KK was about to have a press conference. I mean, we all knew that if there was anything wrong, heads would draw. So there was a lot of discipline. In other words, he looked at Zambians, and as we were growing up that time, he tried to make sure that we had a meaningful life by recognizing ranks and file.
Yes.
And we're quite disciplined. He made sure that there was a lot of discipline. About 2 years ago, I visited him with the ambassador who came from South Africa, and he was representing the Comoros Islands and all. So I was asked to say if I could facilitate that they go and see old man KK.
Yes.
We're with Ambassador Zulu, I think at the time, and I think one of the sons were there. While the meeting was going on, the old man just stood up and said, oh, first let me pray for you, all of you. And he started speaking a blessing on each and everyone who was around, including my driver who was in the car. He requested that let him come and be blessed. That was KK.
Yeah.
So this is a man who I think will always remember because he was selfless. This is a man who I think will always remember because he thought about other human beings than himself.
Wow.
To follow the way he used to say, you know, he had a very high sense of humor. You could hear him say, God first, then man. Love thy neighbor as I love himself. He spoke with a lot of authority. Yeah. Old man KK, even as he goes, I think his legacy still lives on. A lot of people remember him in very different ways. The time he lost the elections in 1991, I happened to have been in Chinsali. Chinsali was a district where he came from when he settled in Zambia. So when he lost the elections to Dr. Cheluba, he flew first to Chinsali, Shambhala Kari Farms, where he came from. Everybody was weeping. But the man, after coming out of the plane then, he was touching down. We were all so expectant that this man would be broken. the first thing he shouted is one Zambia, one nation, one Zambia, one nation. Then the next thing he said, you should be celebrating that I went in alive and I've come back alive. That was Old Man KK. Let me not bore you. I will remember KK for uniting 73 tribes, and all of us called it one Zambia, one nation. We didn't know each other to say, where do you come from? No, no, no. Our tribe was Zambian. There was nothing ethnic about it. Our tribe was Zambian. I'm from the north. If someone was from the south, it mattered less to KK. We were all Zambians. So it was one tribe. KK, old man, rest in peace. Your legacy lives on. Thank you very much.
Mr. Kingsley, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's mouthful for those of us that really didn't understand what went on, what he did. One Zambia, one nation. 73 tribes, one voice, one Zambia, one nation. That is great to remember because it is difficult to unite people. Normally in Africa, you would have a chief that would unite people, but this was a statesman that said one Zambia, one nation. And thank you very much. I'm expecting to see a hands, or I'll call out names. Those of you that are here because you knew the man, some way or one way or another. Let us celebrate the man himself. Really, he done a lot of things that we need to talk about. I see Fozia here. Pierre Fozia, are you there? Can you unmute and say hello, hi?
Hi there. Yes, I'm here.
All right. Share with us the love of the man and the experience, the impact in your life.
Well, I must say that, you know, the time that I spent with him was very brief.
Yeah.
But that brief, I would say, interaction with him was something that one would always remember in their life. You know, the very fact, his stature and his, you know, the serenity in him, the calmness, the humility, it really torn me, you know. It's something that we cherish here very much so in South Africa.
Yeah.
Now, you know, on that day that President Kaunda was there, Dr. Kaunda.
Yeah.
It was, I think, at that Ila Gandhi. I don't know if you all know her. She is the granddaughter of Mahatma Gandhi. And she presented the 2012 Mahatma Gandhi International Awards for Peace and Reconciliation to quite a number of people on that day, like, you know, many others. And Dr. Kaunda was one of them. And I had the liberty to sit next to Dr. Kaunda, and because at that time I was sent by the mayor and I was on the executive of the municipality. So the aura, you know, I must say the aura of the meeting, of meeting a legendary leader, you know, it etched me in my mind. And I recalled clearly the occasion that I shared a prize photograph, you know, with the Zambia's founding post-colonial who died in Lusaka, if I can just say it that way.
Yes.
So that photograph, I wish we could have put that on because I sent it out in all my tribute, Facebook and all over at that time. So I must say, you know, it was one of the challenging events to speak ahead of the awards. I had to do that and mention our visiting dignitary, whose political and leadership reputation preceded him during the era when the ANC tackled racial oppression under apartheid. So Dr. Kaunda stood out for the dream of the new nation. And his aura really, colleagues, humbled us. I have a, as I said, that memorable photograph to cherish his memory of a great, great leader. Now, the atmosphere was extraordinary on that day. Here we were as people who were part of the struggle against apartheid, as activists, and the chief, to have the chief guest, Zambia's long-standing president in our midst, who was in town in eThekwini, Durban, to receive a prestigious Peace Award. I must say, his status and stature, plus his hallmark of humility, was beyond ordinary.
Yeah.
Now, I must say, Dr. Kaunda was, when he was in Durban to receive the Mahatma Gandhi International Award for Peace and Reconciliation, and that was in September 2012, when he was called. And of course, our president, the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa, said, and this was just after we lost Dr. Kaunda, he said, Kaunda had championed South Africa's liberation and gave political protection to the outlawed ANC with headquarters in Lusaka during the lean years of apartheid. In return, he said the ANC government honored Dr. Kaunda with the Order of the Champions of Oliver Tambo in 2002.
All right.
Colleagues, may his revolutionary soul rest in peace. I learned a lot with that brief interaction with him. And I think the most important thing I learned was the fact that, it overwhelmed me in that he continually worked for building peace in Africa. So that alone, I think, is something to remember him, to celebrate him, this icon, for the rest of his life that we will cherish. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that contribution. We need to hear this a lot. We have youngsters out there, and this is getting recorded, and I hope it's going to be uploaded to YouTube so that the rest of Africa can really learn on the power on how he impacted lives wherever he was. Thank you for that, Fozia, much appreciated, for the history, walk back and understand what took place. And as I sit here, I see a lot of us that are sitting in there, and I know someone, their hand is itching to go up to say something about the man. We're talking about, in life, there's a book called Halftime. That book is an amazing book. When you sit, look for a book called Halftime. It talks about you having worked your life. When you retire, that's a halftime. After that, what do you do now? Dr. Kaunda, during his halftime of the life, he impacted left, right, center. He never sat down and said, there's nothing much I'm going to do. But he went on impacting lives. What will your halftime be like after this? I'm not the speaker here. I'm the MC. Dr. B Jayesimini, are you there? I can't hear you. The quietness is deafening in here. I want to hear people talk. Doctor, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, doctor, speak to us. Let's hear your experience with the man, Dr. KK.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My experience is that from a distance, I must say.
Yeah.
Because I never had the opportunity to meet him in his lifetime.
Yes, ma'am.
But because I've given myself to research, I have been able to read a lot about him, and it looks like I've met him, despite the fact that I never met him.
Yeah.
Because the things he did and he stood for are things that I could relate today because of my passion for the continent of Africa.
Yes.
So it came alive in me, like the man is around me. I've met him before, or we've even had conversations before, despite the fact that it hasn't happened. When a man goes out of his way to set the stage for women to get things done on the continent, it is remarkable.
Oh, yes.
I wish I could reinvent words to express how I feel about his legacies, especially when it comes to the female gender.
Yeah.
Because he has done what not a lot of men could do for us. He has done what women could not do for us. And when you have passion about the continent, unity must be predominant in your actions and in what you think when you think about Africa. And that's what he stood for, even in Zambia. That's why he's saying 73 languages, but one tongue.
That's it.
So when you think of Africa, if you love Africa really, what you think about is not the tribes, it's not the different languages, it's not the countries that make up, it's not which country is bigger or most endowed, but unity first.
That's right.
And if there's any one thing, any one value that I picked out of his life is unity. And I'm so grateful that in my lifetime, someone like that lived. Because I can relate with most of what he stood for.
That's right.
Yeah, so may his soul, his beautiful soul, find eternal rest. And I also believe and pray that the unity in Africa will never die.
Oh, yes.
Though it's a wake-up call to all of us to embrace it, to live for it, to speak about it, and to fight for it where necessary. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. B. I'm really in awe for what you've just said. The man stood for unity, and it's resonating across all the speakers that are coming forward to speak. It was all about unity and nothing else. There was a hand by Mama K. It's not full name, I can't see it. It's your turn to speak. Unmute and speak to us. Mama K. You are unmuted, you can speak. Technology always has its way of jumping into celebrations of life and doing things. And while she is coming to us to speak to us, Mama Kay, I mentioned to you as I was passing by just to let you know about this wonderful book that some of you may not have known. As you're speaking about Dr. KK, the book called Halftime by Bob Buffett, very good book. It says, moving from success to significance. He was a successful president, then he moved into significance into his life. So as we live our lives, we need to do that. We need to move from success to significance at any given time. But so moreover, he did it at that age. But now, right now, as we live and breathe, as we run companies, as whatever we do, we need to move from success to significance. He was so significant. Are you back, Mama? Okay, there's a message in the chat room. Let me just check. I did unmute, but not sure why you can't hear me. Oh, okay. Yeah, she's just struggling to come back with the voice. As she's doing that, let's give a chance to another one while she's getting prepared with the technology. Did I hear someone? All right, let's move on. I have Paulo Moreira. Paulo Moreira, are you out there? Do you want to share with us? The platform is open. I see Mama, she's unmuted, but still we cannot hear her. That's still fine. Let's leave it as that. Let me move on to Lillian. Lillian, are you out there? Lillian, speak to us. It's here, the good memories with Dr. KK. Okay. I can hear you, Mama. Can you speak?
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Go ahead and speak to us.
Okay, good evening. I'm not sure what happened there. This is Mama K, named Kemi Adebayo, and I'm a Nigerian but world citizen based in South Africa. And yes, what a pleasure and a privilege to be amongst a lot of people who have actually met with Dr. Kaunda. I have, like my sister, Dr. Jaisime, not met him, but I have read a lot as well about it and I've been inspired as well by him. And for him, for me rather, a lot of people have said, you know, really wonderful things about him. You know, I quite liked what Mr. Kingsley said about how he personally benefited, you know, from him. What stands out for me personally with him is the fact that, hello?
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you.
That he is one of the last who fought for Africa's independence. And the vision he had for Africa as a continent, not just for Zambia alone, and the hopes and his aspiration. And yeah, the fact that he was about bringing people together, his humility, his faith in God, very strong faith in God, is down to earth. You know, the fact that he opened his doors, you know, to so many people. My fear, though, is I'm not sure how many of our children in school know about him, whether be it in South Africa, in Nigeria, and so on. So I would really love somehow if there could be more of his legacy that could be taught, you know, more in school and what he stood for, the unity, the love, you know, for freedom, and, you know, how he did a lot, you know, for the continent as a whole. So I believe his legacy will live on. And he's joined the likes of Papa Nelson Mandela and a lot of other, you know, who were his mates at that time. So I just pray and hope, you know, that young leaders, our youth, you know, can emulate and can learn more from leaders like that who were visionary, who were passionate, who stood up, you know, for what they believed in and fought for it, you know, endlessly. So yeah, a privilege to be part of this team today and to hear more. So may his soul rest in peace, and may God comfort his immediate family and all those who know him and loved him, and the people of Zambia as well, and the continent of Africa.
Thank you, Mama Kay. That was awesome. It's excellent to hear that. And we really, really have to do this. I mean, she said that she would like to see these talked about in schools, which means you and I have an assignment to do, which means today we may declare and run. I spoke to Sister Madeline here to say we need to begin a presidential talk, Dr. KK presidential talk, so that he remains with us forever. Now, I see Nwabisa's phone is open. Nwabisa, are you open to speak?
No.
Okay, all right, no problem, no problem. That's all right. As we go along, we have quite a few in the group. Sister Judith Mueller, are you out there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister J. Please bless us and talk to us. Thank you.
I did not join it. The link on your phone.
Hello.
Yeah, join in.
Judy? Sister Judith, are you out there? Okay, technology, always not appreciative of what we do when we're celebrating lives, yeah. But she's also getting into the process of getting the technology to work. But this is what we're here for. It is really to plant the seed of desire to grow, to begin to transform our minds to think like he thought. We have a tendency, some people, that when they retire, they go sleep and die and do nothing. I saw him at the funeral of the late President Mandela running to the stage at his age. You know, he was like, and I was like, hello. Now, that's impressive. At his age, showing that I've got energy, I can move on. Sister Judith, can you speak and say hi to me?
Yes, hi. How are you?
There you go. Very well. I'm perfect.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you intermittently, though.
Okay.
But I can hear you quite well.
Speak to us. Speak to us now. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much thank you, my brother, for giving me this opportunity to say. I think I have so much to say about Dr. Kaunda, but I think as all of them saying exactly what Dr. Kaunda
Technology is just something else, hey. When you're doing good things, just jumps in and says, hey, stop that. But we won't stop in. We hope you find a position that you can speak to us. But on the screen, if you're looking on the screen, you can see there's information in here. So powerful. It says, family.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I think there's some break in connection there, but I was explaining that I have founded an organization almost 10 years ago. It's called Families Are Nations. And when I was establishing this institution, one of my consultants was Dr. Kaunda because of his strong belief in the institution of family. And so the organization uses and focuses on the family unit as an effective agent of behavior change. So when I went to talk to him, he was so excited. And one of the things he said to me, you are a very clever girl. How did you come up with such a brilliant idea? This is what Zambia needs. And believe me or not, that was in 2014, there was a new president, the late President Sata. Dr. Kaunda promised me that he was going to speak with President Sata that he must buy into my idea.
Yes.
I was so motivated, as you would imagine, in a country like Zambia, where, you know, there were so many challenges, like all the African countries. You think of how can you help the women? How can you help the children? And so one of the things we did first and foremost after establishing was to honor him. He was the ego of the Zambian family. He was so excited. We went there with, and you know, he had a special love for young people. We took one of the the groups of children that he loved to meet were those that had some talent. So the children sang for him and he sang with them. He played the guitar, and also, as someone just said, that he tried to run around. You know, he was so strong. In 2015, we went back on the International Day of the Family. I am vice president of the World Family Organization, and the organization also honored him. So we took the award to him. He was so excited. This man, what he knew most and best was family. And for that reason, we will forever hold him so valuable in our memories. And for families and nations, he remains the hero of the family. If you look at the way he structured his own family, his children, you cannot miss that component about him, the strengthening of the family unit. And again, you know, he loved to bless people with that wonderful white handkerchief. That was like a trademark of him. Whenever you go there, and if you ever have a chance in your life to have that handkerchief be laid on your head, you are a lucky person. And so the young people, I went there with the children. Up to now, they have the photos of him placing his handkerchief on them, and they believe and know, and they are blessed. So really, we will continue to hold him in high, memorable esteem. And for me, he has been my mentor. He remains so even in death. I will continue to remember and appreciate all he did for this country. He really meant well for the institution of family for which I stand for.
All right. So thank you very much for sharing with us that. And brilliantly so, as he said, that it's a brilliant idea to look at the root cause of the nation, which is the family. Community begins with the family. For the president to be a president, starts being a child with a mother and a father. For one to be a minister, starts in the family. For us to be here, we had a mother and a father. Family, 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 family. You are doing a great job. You're doing a great job. So what programs do you run at your organization, by the way?
So basically, it's a family strengthening, reaching out to vulnerable families and establishing, you know, reconciliation. We also integrate members of the family that have fallen off or are in need. And most of all, we are actually technically supporting government in developing policies that are pro-family, that support the system of the family. And, you know, Dr. Kaunda, by the way, ensured that no one was going to choose that they can't marry this one just because of tribe. That is a great thing for the country of Zambia. As you already said, Zambia has over 72 tribes. You can imagine Dr. Kaunda succeeded to engage each and every one of those tribes, and they started intermarriages, which became a very useful tool to unite Zambia as one big family. So our institution is working on that kind of basis, that the family is the most effective agent of national development, peace, and well-being.
Technology one more time. Technology one more time. Just unbelievable. But Judith, Sister Judith, Mama Judith, thank you. You are a mother for the nation. He was a father. He was a grandfather. Now you are the mother of the nation. Walk his steps. One Zambia, one nation. Bring that up. Raise the flag so high that Africa, when they look at it, like, yes, that's the legacy of Dr. KK. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, I've got my mother-in-law in the group. She is incredible. She is wonderful. Sister Ntiki, she is, you know, my brother is married to her sister's daughter. So that's my mother-in-law. Good to see you there, Sister Ntiki. You're looking amazing. Welcome.
Good evening, great leaders of integrity. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And thanks to our leader, my sister, Madeline Mkunu. Thank you for this opportunity. You know, it's so funny. I always say women are funny people. We can do all things at the same time. We can cry, we can eat, we can laugh, we can do anything at the same time. This is the time, you know, we have different emotions, mixed emotions. We celebrate, we mourn, but above all, we have come to honor the great, great, great leader. You know, when we talk about things like a leader shift, power of integrity, we talk about people like, you know, Dr. Kaunda, that he really shifted this power with integrity to us today, not to us in Africa only, but truly to the world, you know. And I remember him very well one time when he visited South Africa. So we gathered around as members of Africa Heritage Society, organized by Mr. Mutuma Mawere, you know, in South Africa. So he came and he asked him to give a speech. All of us, obviously, we want to be close to him. We want to really, like, if possible, we could take pictures with him. He is here, we can touch him, you know, close to us. So when he was asked to give a speech, this is a remarkable thing about him. I think I'm taking from the previous speaker, you know, that he was a father. He didn't just get into speaking, but he burst out into a song, a cappella, you know, a beautiful, you know, song of love. And, you know, a journey that will take you away in a song. He loved music. I listened to some of his, you know, YouTube music, playing piano and singing a gospel song. A man of faith, and you look at him when he plays the gospel and sing along, and like, wow, the multi-talented father, leader, legend, a giant, epic one, you know. So we really lost a great leader. I truly believe and hope that we have taken from him, because really, even after he was not leading as a president in Zambia, but all you know, when there's a first president, he will always be a president. And when he leads, he didn't lead his country only. When he led and also, you know, took care of our families who went to exile in Zambia. I mean, there's a great bond between Zambia and South Africa, and that bond will never break. That bond is strengthened by the way we are going to take this leadership forward as power with integrity and join hands together and say, this is our ideal Africa. If we're talking about Zambia, we would say my ideal Zambia. We talk about South Africa, my ideal South Africa. We talk about collaboration, my ideal Africa. And we would talk about the world and say my ideal globe. Thank you so much, my son-in-law. God bless you. Thank you, Sister Madeline, for this wonderful, wonderful way of saying thank you to the vessel and the gift that we really received from God for all of us in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And by the way, before you go, I'll be asking you this thing. Now that you are here and now you've shared what KK was all about, what are you all about? Talk to us. What are you all about?
I'm all about integrity.
Okay.
Just one word. And we can break it to a biggest book in the world. When we lead with integrity, even the Bible says in Proverbs 29 verse 2, when wicked people lead, people mourn. But when the righteous rule and lead, people rejoice. So in my leadership consulting and my foundation and the company, we do a coaching, leadership training and development. and we take it from all modules of leadership. Corporate governance, from the power to lead with integrity. We all have power to lead, but do we all have integrity? We can all then, if we coach, we mentor, we train, we have been developed. Can we advance now and be on a level that really shows that we are leaders, global giants that can lead the whole world with integrity? Not forgetting to impart this to our youth. They are the leaders of tomorrow. I've imparted this to you, my son-in-law. You have to impart it to the next generations of the Mayas. So it has to go on. Let the baton be passed on without a dot, but integrity.
Oh, thank you. So what's the name of your organizations that you run? What are they?
Power to Lead with Integrity. You see the banner behind me? It's Power to Lead with Integrity Foundation. We do wonderful programs, even with the youth. We had a wonderful program with June 16 legends who led the day on that day. They were 15 years then, but now they are great legends. So we speak with them. We have partnered with them, June 16. We partner with the Mandela Foundation. We have partnered with Leading Women in Africa many years ago. So we are pushing this leadership from the legends to the youth of today. Let us lead with integrity, especially Africa. African people, we have so much resources. When we coach, when we mentor, when we train, when we develop, let it show that we are truly God's true people. Let's impart it with integrity.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you one more time. It's an honor to have a word with you. And I think this is just the beginning. Like I said, we want to make this a recurring program. So we begin to pass the keys to the young ones.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you one more time. Thank you very much. Now, that was my mother-in-law. It's a pleasure to have family in the room. You know, in one of those things, you can't just get it. Kaunda was about family, and this is what family is all about. Thank you one more time. We have other people in the room that I haven't heard from. I'm just going to check here. I have Norma Lekaya. Are you there? Norma, can you hear me? Mama Norma Lekade, are you there? Don't be shy. We're talking about a grandpa, KK here. Let's share the memories. Let's share the memories. All right?
Hi. Yeah, hello. My network is just giving me problems. That's why I'm in and out.
Now I can hear you talk. Don't waste time now. Talk. You know what?
I don't have much to say because I at the time that I heard about Mr. Kaunda, I was very young. So I've just been listening to great people talking about him. One thing I also know is that he loved music and also that he loved soccer. So that's a little bit of the things that I know about him. But otherwise, I've been listening to the great speakers. He sounds like a great man. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. That was her experience. I see I've got Leon in the house. Leon, are you willing to share with us? Because we want to hear from all angles. I've heard a lot of ladies. There was a gentleman. Now there is you. Bless us, Mr. Leon. Mr. Leon, can you hear me? You can mute yourself and mute yourself. As he's trying to unmute himself, let's continue to celebrate this legacy, the aura that he left. When he was in the room, you could feel there was a president. When he visited the country, good things would be said about Africa, about Zambia. Now, I began by telling you about a book called Halftime by Bob Buffett. That book is powerful. And it just reminded me, because as you're talking about this guy, hey, this daddy, this president, this grandpa, the leader of an African nation, from 73 nations to the entire Africa, his halftime was so influential. Will you be influential in your life? Because this is what we need to think of. This is all about this, not just about talking, but for us to reflect where you are. Are you touching lives? He was touching lives every time. Hence, I love his strategy. He knew that the way he could do it is to go and attach himself to the organizations that are running. But he chose women specifically, mothers, sisters, aunts, and cousins, and grandmothers. This is what he chose. And so those men that are here as myself, we need to learn and understand that, because when you get women together, it's like getting spiders together with a web. They can take down a lion. He has been taking down lions of life by attaching himself with organizations. And all the speakers that have been here have done such a great job. I will be probably asking now the president of Leading Women of Africa, if there's anyone else that would like to share a word, please put up your hand before I allow the president of Women of Africa, Leading Women of Africa, to speak. Anyone else out there that would like to say, hey, I would like to share? It looks like going once, twice. Thank you. One more time. There is Sister Judith. She's back. Please unmute and talk to us. Sister Judith?
Hello, yes.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I think my submission in communication. Yes, can you hear? I wanted also to add something about Dr. Kaunda on his focus on morality.
Yes.
One of his great achievements was to impact a sense of morality in people. You may have already known, and from writings, that he resigned his position as president of the Republic of Zambia for 24 hours because he said, I cannot be a president of drunkards. He resigned, he practically left his office and resigned as president of a country just to make a point that he won't tolerate unruly and drunken family members, because he identified with such ills that really drained and damaged the family relationships. You know how drunkenness can raise gender-based violence, abuse, and poor workmanship. You know, professionalism was being drained by men who drank so much and paid less attention to their families or to their professional work. So this was also a very outstanding aspect of him, where he took a stand and said that people can change if someone makes a strong stand on something. So he was a man who stood for what he believed in, and he achieved what he intended to achieve. And you can see that even from the freedom fighting process, where he fought hard so that our sisters and brothers in the neighboring countries could achieve independence. I think that this is a very outstanding attribute of Dr. Kaunda that we should also look at. And I want to urge all of us to encourage the youth to think like that, leadership is about sound morality. If people can achieve a lot, they need to have sound mind and morally straight. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this discussion in spite of the break in communication, but I really got it. And well done, my brother. You've done a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You said morality. Uma Muntik there talked about integrity. Those things go together. Sister Ndeye, would you like to speak?
My brother and sister, then she enjoyed. Well, then I borrow yourself for me and that one. I get out.
Sister Ndeye, can you hear me? Mamu Ndeye?
I think you may have to mute her. She doesn't know she's muted.
Yes. Madeline, please mute Sister Ndeye. All right. We have
only the technical team can. Patient, I'm sending in the message.
And I will help you to mute and unmute.
Please mute Ndeye urgently.
All right. I see we have got a man who's just joined us, Mr. John Kunu, and I would like to see if the man here would share with us, I'm sure one or another, through Mr. Medlin has an contact with Dr. Kaunda. John, do you have something to say about our Dr. KK?
Guys, are you there?
Go ahead, she's muted.
Hello, Will?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, look, it's a privilege really to be in this appointment day, as to honor Dr. David Kenneth Kaunda, who is known as last man standing African hero. We all know the impact of such a man and how his life came to turn up the life of African leaders, setting an example of being in power, but also choosing to leave the seat to the youngest generation to prosper, you know, to continue to lead by example according to what he set up and stand. So it's a bittersweet time, you know. One side we want to rejoice his legacy, but to the other side is really something that everyone would like to think about, that really a hero has gone, you know, and we are left with a lot of questions to ask ourselves how we can rebuild such a reputation and as African and continue to deal in unity the way the master used it to preach every opportunity that African need to be united, African need to work together to succeed, should we succeed to rebuild Africa. So Dr. David Kenneth Kaunda was a leader. He was somebody that had the spirit of uniting Africa, somebody that really was calling Africa to love one another, to share the continent together, you know, and those are the things that we will always remember him, that Africa, to the vision of Dr. David Kenneth Kaunda, is one place, is one people, is a unity, is about sharing our value together, sharing our land together, sharing our opportunities together. And he stood up for those kind of principles that today we will continue to honor, and we'll be proud of him as a leader, a Pan-African leader that set up a high standard in terms of how to lead in Africa and leave a legacy. So I would like really to stop there.
Thank you for that, for your contribution. Yes, last man standing. I mean, I've seen it in the movies. It says last man standing. He was really the last man of integrity standing. I mean, after we had lost Ndate Mandela, that was the last man standing that we had. Others maybe, I don't know, but he was the last man standing. Thank you, Brother John. I have in the house Yolanda Mabuto. Yolanda, would you like to share something with us about your experience and about Dr. KK's life? Renee Andrews, could you please mute your mic?
Thank you, Mr. Zondo.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to also share the same sentiments with
Stop for a second.
all the delegates and all the leaders who are here.
Sister Yolanda?
Can you hear me?
Yes, could you please
Yes.
hold on? Brother John and Sister Andrews Renee, could you please mute your mics? Thank you, Renee. Brother John, could you please mute your mic?
All right, I'm working on that, yes.
All right. Sister Yolanda, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. So I was just saying that I share the same or similar sentiments with everyone who's here about the fallen hero. I've learned so much from him, just also following the history and what he has done for Africa and how brave he was. And also, you know, I agree with leadership, about integrity in leadership. I think it's one of the things that he displayed for us young people to be able to emulate from him, being, you know, the leader with integrity and being the brave leader. Even our brother John right now, I was not aware that he said at some point he would not lead a country that is, you know, unruly. You know, that takes a brave and courageous leader to take such steps for people to really take you seriously. So these are the things that I'm also learning, even when he's not here, but we're still learning. And I know that, you know, the next generations and the next will still learn from him because of the things that he has done. So yeah, it's a bittersweet moment to have this conversation, but those are the things that we need to remember him about and really take out from his leadership and how he shaped Africa. And indeed, I think he was one of those last men standing for African leaders, as you have said, Mr. Zondo. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sister Yolanda. That was awesome. I want to go back to you, Sister Renee, last lady standing before the President of Leading Women of Africa. Sister Renee Andrews, any words, last words?
Good evening. I just want to say what an honor and a privilege. I almost feel emotional because I feel, you know, our African countries need to take a page out of the Honorable Dr. Kaunda, as well as, you know, Nelson Mandela. When you look at those greats, we need to encourage our leaders to follow this mark of excellency. Everything that they did was with excellence. The way they led the country was with excellence. And we need to follow through that and encourage our young leaders that this is the way we lead. These are the examples that we need to follow. And I just want to say, my heart is broken in so many places because, you know, we're trying to build back Africa, and, you know, a lot of the other countries are looking at us and with disdain because of a lot of things that's happening in our countries. But I do believe that there's a hope, and I do believe that, you know, God reigns over Africa, and I do believe that God will bring change into our leaderships. We just got to continue to pray, continue to trust, and continue to encourage good leadership, and just inculcate, you know, your integrity, those things that was implanted in us. We have good examples, and that's really all I need to say tonight. I think I'm just very emotional tonight. I'm just thinking about all of this.
Okay, I can actually say amen to that. Sister Rebecca, you've been quiet in that corner. Sister Rebecca Morudi, you've been quiet in that corner. As she's thinking, looking at all the ladies in the room here and all the mothers in this room, I remember a young woman who was asked to give water to this man. And I see Sister Rebecca, are you there? Can you hear me? Okay, so as I continue, this lady is asked, could you please give me some water? And so she brings water and she says, will I not only give you water, I will also give water to your camels. That's excellency. And so this young woman, and she was unmarried, she was single. And so they were about, I mean, how many, 5 or 10 camels, and they drink about 40 gallons of water, which means a young lady going into the well, feeding a camel about how many gallons that it takes. So she had to take almost 200 liters of water from the well to feed these camels. And yet she was asked for a cup of water. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Kaunda did exactly that. During his halftime, he didn't just sit down and say, I've done it, so that's it. But he went beyond call of duty of life. We must go beyond the call of duty of life, wherever we are. The ideas, the interaction, what we're doing right here, right now, it's so important, it's so impactful. She did that with excellence. When I speak to the young people, when I leave this platform, I will take this with me. I'm going to talk about this, and I'm going to say, hey, we need to talk about a man that lived with integrity. It is my wish that for all of you that are here, before I hand over to the president, that you go on and in your corners to continue and be there like that lady. And that lady's name is Rebecca in the Bible. She was asked for a cup of water, but she fed the whole camels, about 200 liters. I don't know how many times she went without getting tired. 200 liters of water down the well and up. I want to believe that. I don't know how big was Put your mic. Yeah, thank you. As I finish, be the Rebeccas of this world. Feed the nation with your 200 gallons of water in your corners and whatever you're doing. Be encouraged. Don't give up. Thank you. Madam Medlin, it's your turn to speak to us as we're about to close.
All right, so before I conclude, and I would just urge you, just in a few minutes, don't leave. I want to share with you a special story between myself and Dr. Kaunda. But before I do that, I just want to take the opportunity, because we might forget at the end, because of the excitement of the story that I'm going to tell you. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone that have made this event possible. First of all, you will see on top of your screen, on top of the stream, you will see the logos circulating. These are the people that have sent their tribute to the great men of the continent. And our platform, if you want more details, you can look at on your left hand, you will see sponsors, you see exhibitors. So our platform allows that. We can have an event, we can have exhibitors, we can have sponsors, you can view attendees, you can connect with attendees. So that was just a little bit about the program, so that the last few minutes, if you did not have a chance to explore the platform yet, please do, because there's just so much that you can do with this platform that we are bringing, but we are actually building from scratch in Africa. And thank you again for your support. I know many of you, some of you might have difficulty to log in and all that because it's a new system, but girls, gentlemen, this is our own baby we are building in Africa. Why rent other event platforms while we have our own in Africa? It will be improved in the future as we go along, and as the technical team continue to work on it, to look at all the teething issues, so that this platform can be a great meeting room for all Africa. Let me now get to the story with Kaunda. I will share with you my first experience or my first meeting with this great man. This picture was taken in 2009. Sorry. Let me see if I can get to that. Yes. This picture was taken in 2009 in London. I got to London. I was speaking at a conference in London, and one guy who happened to be at the conference where I was speaking at heard about my vision for Africa and African women and African development and African unity. And this guy went to tell Dr. Kaunda, who happened to be in London at that time as well for holiday, went to tell Dr. Kaunda that you better meet this young girl. She has the vision similar to yours. And Dr. Kaunda did not hesitate and sent me a message. By the second day, when I arrived at the conference room, I got a message that Dr. Kaunda is looking for you after the conference today. You have a rendezvous with him. I'm like, Dr. Kaunda? Dr. Kaunda, I studied him in history or in politics or at school, but him, knowing him, how did he get to know me? And well, after the event, there we went to his apartment and he welcomed us and we actually sat on the floor when he asked me, tell me about your vision, because I heard someone at the conference where you were talking told me about you. And I started sharing with him the vision that I believe that Africa, as much as we are 54 or 55 countries, we share one piece of land and we share one future. And I started sharing with him the potential that Africa has. God has blessed us with so much resources. God has blessed us with people. And yet there's just so much poverty. And I told him about my confusion. I cannot understand a rich Africa, yet the people are so poor. And I wanted to learn from him. I wanted to know so much. You've been there. What have you seen? What experience you could share with us? Because we want to make sure that the Africa of tomorrow will be the Africa that will change the face of its people, that will not be talking about poverty and hunger in Africa anymore. And as I was just so passionately sharing my vision, my story and all that, and I just did not know, I had no answer. And this is one thing, ladies, that I want to leave you with that he told me at that very first meeting, when he was saying that I will mentor you. That's why I call him my mentor. And I will be part of this organization. That's why he was the patron of Leading Women of Africa from that time, from 2009 until today. He left us with one message. And I want to share this with you, with Africa, just so we can think about it and we can really just try to re-strategize and see where are we going to take Africa tomorrow. We know that we do have the Agenda 2063, where we're looking at a better Africa. But 2063 is far. People are dying now. 2063 is far. Our young people, they are dying in the Mediterranean for the search of a better future or for the search of a better land, while we do have everything on this continent. Dr. Kaunda told me this. He said that this Africa, yes, has so much that God has blessed this continent with. But one thing that is standing in front of Africa are strongholds. For those who are spiritual will understand when he says that what is standing on Africa's development are strongholds that don't want Africa to move forward. Africa, he told me, will need men and women of faith. Men and women that will come to dismantle their stronghold so Africa can go on the other side of what the people are expecting. And I think this is a message that I carry with me day in and day out. Whenever we see hunger, poverty, and all that, the one thing as women, as men of faith, pray. Let's pray for our land. Let's pray for our continent. There's just so much that's standing against the advancement of this continent, against the advancement of us as women. You know what? Women represent over 50% of the African population. Yet women carry the face of poverty. Women have so great potential. And I believe that the Africa of tomorrow will be led by women. I believe that women have so much potential. Dr. Nelly, I encourage you in the vision that you have. The Africa that we are waiting for is an Africa when women will stand and take their rightful place as mothers of this land and say, Africa is my daughter. I will nurture her. I will make her grow to become a strong woman that could look after her own children. That's what Africa is waiting for. As we go forward, as we carry the baton that Dr. Kaunda has left us with, and as Dr. Nelly said, at that meeting when we met him in Zambia, he blessed us, he gave us, he passed the baton to women. Let's honor his legacy, ladies. Let's honor him. And we are not saying that it's now turned to let men behind. No. We are just saying, together with men, let's stand up. Let's rebuild this continent of ours. God has blessed us with this continent. And it's up to us to nurture it, to ensure that our children don't go to bed hungry, to ensure that our children do not die unnecessarily in the Mediterranean because they're going to look for green pastures. We can create green pastures on this continent. This is a message that Kaunda left for, it was not only for me. And today I'm sharing it for Africa. Let's stand together. Let's stand in unity for a better future for our continent. Thank you, Mr. Will. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Now, that was mouthful. I do think and believe that we can only become strong together as one voice, one Africa. As we build leadership in every corner that we are and wherever we're going. So as we are about to end this, I would like to appeal to you to look forward. The next event coming up, it will be looking at us, what are we doing in our corners and how can we collaborate to ensure that this becomes a strong platform, both men and women building Africa. Because those that have built Europe have done it in a similar format. We are here with a chance to do this, and let's do it right. We have got a powerful ladies in here, gentlemen, so that as we leave, those of you, maybe you and I could die at any given time, but when the kids will come, they'll be like, they left this platform. Let's continue doing this. So when we started, this has become more spiritual. We are all Christians in here. If we have a Muslim in the house, salam alaikum, but we are Christians. I would like us to finish and close in prayer so that as we go, wherever we're going, let us become the lighthouse in the dark world. The world is so dark, not only outside, but in the houses that some of us, our neighbors, we can feel and see. It's so heavy. It's like there's a smoke and you want to put down the fire, but you can't. So as we're about to leave, I would like us to go with the love of God. Shall we close our eyes as we pray? Our Father in heaven, I and the ladies and the gentlemen are so grateful for this opportunity. We have begun. We cannot be stronger. I would like to thank you for your forgiveness and for the grace that covers everyone. And so tonight, as we separate, I would like to ask you to go into each and every household where these children of yours are coming from. If some of them will be driving, drive the machines and protect them. We are living in a time that everything and anything can happen, but because we trust in who you are, because when you spoke once, it's always good. And so tonight and this evening, bless them and guide them. All this in the wonderful name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Everybody say amen.
Amen. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our program, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Sister Judith, we'll keep talking. I have dropped my contacts in the chat room. Those of you that will have other platforms and you'd like me to help you do something, don't hesitate. We are one nation, one Africa, one nation, one Zambia, one nation. God bless you. Travel safe and be safe. Until next time. Bye.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone. You can
Virtual
network
hugs,
now.
everyone.
Bye. You can
You can
network
hug now.
on the system.
Bye.
Good night. Thanks for the invite.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, my sister. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you so much, Sis Kaka.
Thanks, my
Ntiki.
sister.
Yeah, thanks so
Yes.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madeline. Thank you, everyone. I really
She
enjoyed tonight.
muted herself. Madeline, you muted yourself. Unmute. You muted yourself. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
You muted.
There we go.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No,
my
thank you
sister.
so much. Thank you, Renee. Thank you,
Yes.
everyone.
Yes. Bye now, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yes, Dada.